Hey friends, Dave Trotter here. I'm so excited that you're here for the Awakened Business Masterclass. And tonight we have three executive contributors that I'm so excited for you to meet. If you haven't seen their interviews on the magazine, on the podcast, on video, whatever it might be, go check it out because these individuals have a lot of wisdom to share and you'll love to hear about their work. So we're basically going to have three individuals share for 10 minutes each. And as they're sharing, I invite you to be thinking about questions that you want to put in the chat window, and then I'll bring those to their attention at the end, and we'll kind of have a roundtable discussion. So first off, we have tonight Dinah Simpson. She's a Reiki master and energetic lifestyle coach, and you are going to love her. She's going to bring us meditation and help us get centered and thinking about creativity. And then next, we've got Gene Jimenez. So Gene is not only a fine artist and a sound healer, but he's also a former university professor in the area of fine art. And so he's going to be talking to us all about creativity. And then finally, last but not least, we've got Whitney Freya. She's an artist, author, and business coach. And if you have not seen her work online, she teaches people how to paint intuitively. So those of us who may not consider ourselves to be artists, teaching us how to paint, and then in the process, going within and experiencing healing and transformation and all sorts of amazing things in her life coaching process. So excited that you're here tonight. And if this resonates with you, encourage you to share this video, the replay, with friends who may benefit from this. And and then join us next month. Of course, we'll have another masterclass at the end of the next month as well. So Dinah, go ahead and get us started.
I'd be happy to. Thank you so much for including me, and I'm so happy to be here with everyone, as well as my co-hosts, I guess we would say. I am going to just do that with my... yes, I am happy to lead everybody in a meditation just to get centered, to really create this space so that we are present and putting fully our intention and attention into this moment. And so thank you all for showing up and for being here. If you would like, you can, just come into a comfortable position. I see that most people are seated in a chair. So if you could just make sure that your legs are uncrossed, both feet on the ground. So we really want to ground. You can gently start to close your eyes and just come into the present moment. We want to start to just really feel into the energy of what we are pulling together for this evening. And that is just awakening your creativity. So I'm going to ask you to just take a big breath in through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. Another big breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth again. And then one more time, a big breath in through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. And just finding your center. And so welcome to this 10-minute meditation to awaken your creativity. We are going to journey together into a space of deep peace and love, where creativity flows effortlessly and inspiration comes naturally. So in this mindful moment, it is designed to help you connect to the boundless source of creativity that is within you. So nourishing both your life and your business. So let's just begin by feeling a wave of calm washing and cascading over you. Oops, sorry. I want to release any tension that you may be carrying. Feel the support of the ground beneath you. Finding safety in this moment and allowing your body to soften and relax. I'm going to take a nice gentle breath in through the nose again and just inviting in more peace, more love. Inhale peace. And exhale any tension. And start to feel yourself becoming more grounded, more connected to this moment. Knowing that you are loved and held in this space. We now bring your awareness to your heart center, the home of your inner wisdom, the seat of your intuition, and the source of your creativity. And so as you place your focus here, imagine a soft, warm light glowing in the center of your chest. And this light is the essence of love. It's your creative spark and the limitless potential that you carry within you. And with every breath, you feel this light growing warmer and brighter. And just imagine it expanding, gently filling your entire body with a soothing sense of peace and unconditional love. And breathe in this feeling of love, letting it comfort and nourish you from the inside out. And now silently ask yourself this question: what does creativity feel like to me? What does creativity feel like to me? And just allow whatever arises. Maybe it's a color, a sensation, an image. Allow it to float up effortlessly, like a gentle breeze carrying new ideas. And there's no need to focus or control. Just let the feelings of creativity emerge naturally from this space of peace and love. Know that creativity, like love, flows freely when we surrender and trust. It is not something that we need to chase. It is already within you, waiting to be nurtured. Creativity is deeply connected to your intuition, that quiet, loving inner voice that guides and inspires you. So take this moment to visualize creativity, seeing it as a flowing river of light, moving gently and effortlessly through you. And with each breath, this river washes away any blocks, any doubts, any limiting beliefs. And just allow this light to bathe your mind and your heart in peace, clearing space for inspiration to arise. Now let's explore how this creativity and this love can manifest in your life and in your business. First, reflect on your life with a sense of loving curiosity. Just silently asking yourself, what areas of my life need more playfulness, more curiosity, or a fresh perspective? Where can I invite more joy and more peace? As you sit with this question, notice any insights or ideas that might arise. Holding them with love and without judgment. Trusting that these ideas are seeds of new beginnings. nourished by the peace and that knowing within you. Now gently shift your focus to your business or work and ask yourself, how can I invite more creativity into my business? What new ideas, strategies, or approaches can help me express my true vision with gentleness and with authenticity? And as you hold this question in your mind, trust that your intuition, that voice of compassion and creativity, is guiding you toward all of the answers. Whatever is coming up in this moment, whether it's small insights or big visions, please honor them. Feel the peace of knowing that these creative seeds are being planted, and trust that they will blossom in their own time. And now start to bring your awareness back to your heart, where the light of creativity and love continues to glow brightly. Know that this light is always within you, and that whenever you need inspiration or peace, you can return to this loving space. Creativity is not something you need to search for outside of yourself. It flows from within. It is effortless. And when you trust your intuition and embrace the love that lives inside of you, anything and everything is possible. And so take this moment now to silently affirm, I trust my intuition as a source of creativity and great compassion. I am a creative being, and I welcome inspiration with an open heart. I trust my intuition as a source of creativity and great compassion. I am a creative being, and I welcome inspiration with an open heart. Before we end, let's take one final deep breath together. Inhale deeply through the nose, feeling your entire being filled with peace and a vibrant, creative energy. And then exhale slowly, releasing any remaining tension. And just trust that you are loved, you are supported, and connected to a limitless source of inspiration. And so when you're ready, gently start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can start to open your eyes. Thank you for taking this moment to awaken your creativity. May you move forward with a deep sense of peace, with love and inspiration, knowing that these insights, all of these gifts, are always within reach. Satnam. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. I appreciate it so much. And I hope that you received what it is you needed. But now I'm going to turn it over to Gene Jimenez so that he can inspire more creativity.
Well, thank you so much. That was a great start for me. Yeah, I feel wonderful. I don't know about you all, but I do feel wonderful. So thank you, Dinah. So like I mentioned, I'm in Orange, California, Southern California. I was born and raised here. I have been an artist, and creative director, fashion designer, street brand, creative director, television, music, web, for the past 35 years. I've been a fine artist for the past 25 years. I've shown in galleries all across the country, and I've traveled the world with my art. So I feel incredibly fortunate. Why I producing an article for Awakened magazine called "Being an Artist." It really came out of a class that I was teaching at the university, and a class called "Being an Artist." Because as I started in my fine art career, it quickly became evident that it wasn't about how much I knew in being an artist, and how much I knew technically. If I wanted to succeed in being an artist and living the artist lifestyle, it really came down to several aspects I don't want to share with you now. But it was less about the technique and more about who I am as a person, who I got to be through my art for other people. The first thing that I really realized is I had to put my feet on the ground. I had a lot of people always come up, and even today, people always come up to me and say, "Oh, I wish I could draw or paint like you, or I wish I could, I wish I had that creative bug." And the reality is we do. In fact, that's the only thing that separates us from our closest primates, is that we are creative. We are born creative. In fact, when you go to kindergarten, they hand you that little piece of crayon, and they you either eat it or you start drawing with it. So some of us did eat it, and then you start drawing with it. And that's only because, one, they didn't tell you what to do with it, and you start drawing because you're innately creative. That's our part of our DNA, is our creativity. And so when you actually settle into that and realize, like Dinah was mentioning during our meditation, that your creativity lies within you. And as you go from, at least in our Western society, you go from this, hey, let's draw on things on papers that are as large as the table that's in front of us, to now we're, in our little phones and whatnot. That's how big our all of a sudden our canvas becomes. One of the things I realized, that we got to get back to who we naturally are, and that's being our natural human selves. So when you get grounded into, I am a human being, I am naturally creative, and I was born this way, all of a sudden, it really does become about you awakening that creator within, and the willingness to do that. Now, that's not always easy, because, well, first of all, you're not taught that. Our society doesn't say, hey, I'm going to raise you to be an artist. Unfortunately, most of the time it's, hey, I'm going to raise you to go get a job and be successful. And if you're not that, we're going to be very disappointed in you along the way. Just a little bit about my story. I'm the youngest of 5 kids, born in Southern California. Everybody plays sports. I'm the youngest of 3 boys. Those 2 other guys that I call my brothers are monster football players. I'm in high school. I weighed probably about 85 pounds soaking wet. And so I had to find something else to do, because being the tackling dummy, at a high school football team was really not my business. So fortunately, my mother and my grandfather were very creative people. So they always kept this creativity going. She was always painting something or doing some type of home craft. So I kind of was like, hey, do you want to go play football with the gang? It's like, no, I'm kind of beat up already. I'm just going to stay here and paint with mom. And that actually fostered and kept my creativity alive. So being grounded in that was incredibly supportive for me. And for me personally, it didn't stigmatize becoming an artist. Whereas a lot of the friends I grew up with grew up in the same neighborhoods and grew up in everything. And they don't really understand art. In fact, most of my family doesn't understand what fine art is. And they'll come to some of my shows and everything. They come out of support and love. It doesn't mean that they have to understand it truly. And that's one of the things you got to kind of embrace about the people that you surround yourselves with, the people that the people that are your tribe in this lifetime. They're not always going to understand what you do as an artist, because creativity, while we all have it and embody it, it's also a very unique thing to each one of us. It's not a template of, oh, I wish I had creativity. Can you go buy me that, down the street at the store? This comes, it's a very personal thing. And it's like our DNA. It's also as unique as our fingerprint. Each of us have our own version of it, which is, I think, one of the coolest things about us is that we, have our own unique form of creativity. That scares some people because all of a sudden you're going to be producing stuff, and your best friend that you've known since you were, 4 years old, and you're the same, you were both eating crayons that day. All of a sudden you're going to be producing stuff that's different than their thought process. And they're going to go, hey, whoa, this isn't really right. Or they're going to be, I don't know what you're doing. Sometimes they're going to be, oh my God, I've been waiting for this my entire lives. I can't believe you finally grew into this. And this is so amazing. And you're going to find that experience from, across the board of people that you have. So leaning into it, having your feet on the ground and allowing yourself to be who you are, and then deciding what kind of artist you want to be, I think is really important. You can be an artist and live a creative lifestyle. As far as I do, I have kind of what I hope is a more well-rounded practice of I paint and then I show them, and if they sell, great. If not, I have a room full of paintings, and I have a room full of paintings, and I've been fortunate enough to sell a room full of paintings as well. But I don't create my paintings with the intention of, oh, this better sell. I create because it's a form of expression for myself. So, a lot of people have asked, hey, how's the business going? It's like, well, my life is great. The business part, as you define it by your version, again, we're all unique people. So as far as you define it by your version of what you call business, I don't know. You can look at all my stuff and tell me how my business is going. And some would say, wow, it's really great. You're showing in all these galleries and you have this amount of sales and whatnot. And somebody else would say, yeah, you're nothing. That's okay with me. I'm doing this for me. So as an artist, you get to really kind of be almost, I wouldn't say selfish, but be okay with this is a creative expression for you. The business and everything else will come. There's an expression that says, do what you love and everything else will follow. It's oddly weird that my grandfather told me that, because he was a self-made man. He started from nothing, and he was really about business his entire life. And I remember asking him towards the end of his life, he's been passed for the past 15 years now, but I remember towards the end of his life, I said, well, Grandpa, you had all this success and everything business. Is this business what you wanted to do? And we're sitting in his living room with this mansion of a house and everything. He said, no, what I really wanted to do is to create a family. So look around, and we're all surrounded by this beautiful family and surrounded by love and surrounded by, he said, this is what I wanted to create. This is why I did all that. And I think that really struck and stuck with me, the past several years of my life of like, oh, that's right. I'm not creating paintings so that I can buy houses and buy, be on the front pages of magazines and everything. I'm painting because it's part of who I am. It's part of what I want to create in the world. It's what I want to leave. So allowing yourself to be nestled into who you are and be comfortable with that, I think is incredibly important. With that though, art creativity doesn't happen in a vacuum. You're not going to be out there going, hey, here's something, people buy it. You need to put and surround yourself with people that are honest. You need to surround yourself with people that love you, that care for you, but also care enough about you to tell you the truth. So sometimes they're going to say, hey, this doesn't work. Other times they're going to say, awesome, this is so great. And sometimes they're just going to give you space to go for it. And those are gold people. And sometimes I think we take people for granted. I know for myself, I have people in my lives that just want to come see my work, and we could be hanging out, friends and everything, but they just want to come and see what I'm up to and kind of almost witness me. So I do a lot of that. I do a lot of, people ask me, hey, I want to be I want to be an artist and whatnot, but I don't know how to get started. It's like the first thing you want to do to get started is make sure you're not alone. We're not designed as creatures to be alone. We are designed to love each other and feed off each other's energy and to listen to each other. But the biggest thing I think we're designed for is to give each other space and witness each other in their in our own, I guess, magnificence. And then I think one of the other thing that really makes sense as far as being an artist is be responsible. Being responsible in our society is really tough. It is. It's like, people ask me all the time, well, are you making your house payment? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And, and whatnot. And it's like, well, I'll tell you this. I'm living the life I love. All of my bills are paid. I have a beautiful, wonderful partner who supports me greatly. And I can make work to sell it. I don't consider that as part of my art, though. I consider that a job. And unfortunately, in our society as well, there's no job, artist check mark on the tax return thing. So you've got to be willing to work for what you want and establish that and make sure that you're expressing and creating what lives true for you. Are you an artist that evokes, do you want your work to evoke something, or do you want it to provoke something? Are you creating it to sell it? Or are you creating it to express something? And then really be grounded in your definition of success. It's society is going to have all kind. There's 8 billion of us now. That's a crowded world, and everyone has an opinion, and it's okay. What matters is yours, and you have to realize that yours does matter for you, if nothing else. And in the thralls of going out and and I'm not just talking about painting, but really talking about music and writing and poetry and acting and all that. Be willing to fan that little flame inside. Be willing to take that, because we're here such a short time. We're here it's such a interesting time that we're in, and we have an opportunity. We always have this opportunity. But some people say, oh, well, it's too late. I'm over 50 now, and it's all, I'm on the downhill side. And it's like, you know what?
Hey, now, let's not go 50. Let's.
I'm 53. I think honestly, I feel like I'm just getting started, and I've been around the world twice and back, and it's been absolutely phenomenal. And so I'm going to encourage you, I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your beliefs in. Start taking things by the reins. Let that little something out. And if I'm going to leave anything with you, I'm going to leave this little exercise that I had my kids do every day in college. And they thought I was crazy, but by the end of it, I have kids from 10 years ago still emailing me and, monthly and whatnot, and that have their kids do it now, who are now getting into their teens and whatnot. But go play with crayons. Go play with some crayons. For no other reason that you'll realize that your muscle memory will kick in. And it was the last time that you were really, truly free to express and create. And allow yourself to, hey, there you go. Karen, see, perfect. Allow that muscle memory just to really express itself. Do that for 10 days. Give me a call and let me know what's happening, because I promise you, all of a sudden things will just start coming out, that you'll have that childlike muscle memory coming back, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. So, and with that, I'm going to leave you with the incredible Whitney Freya. Oh, can't hear you.
Thank you. It's so fun to listen to you both, Dinah and Jean. Like, we are having so much of the same conversation in our orbits, and I just absolutely love it. Thank you for all you're creating in our world. Wow, that is fun. And then, hold on, I dropped my marker. We're going to draw a little bit here too. So I feel like everything Jean said about being a creator, it's who we are, it's what we do. Doing business as a creative, it's super magical. I opened an art center in 1996, was the beginning of my journey. I had not painted on a canvas since I was 9 years old, when the art teacher told me drawing wasn't my thing. I had been a very vocal and expressed wannabe artist my whole life. I had started to think maybe possibly if I gave myself a chance, I could do it. And then I read in the book Zen and the Art of Making a Living. exactly what you mentioned, Jean. And I'm thinking like, I know, do what you love and the money will follow, blah, 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 Cinderella. I was selling books door to door at the time. It's Southern California. I could probably knocked on anyone's door who lives in Southern California. And was fully aware that the real world was way more like a blank canvas than a multiple choice test, right? And the author of this book, Lawrence G. Bold, quoted Nietzsche as saying, the proper task of life is art. And he said, most of you will think this has nothing to do with you, but this book will insist throughout that unless you adopt an artist mentality, you will not be able to create the life of your dreams. And I was just like, well, the only thing I know for sure, besides the fact I don't want to sell books door to door for the rest of my life, is that I want a dreamy life. Like I wanted the full on adventure roller coaster up and down, all the things. So I wondered, where does one go to develop this artist mentality? Because you're not getting it in school. I did not believe I could draw, right? Still, because that art teacher told me when I was 9, so it must be true. And the art classes in college, you had to take drawing 101, 102, painting 101, 102 to get to like mixed media collage, which I thought maybe possibly I could handle, right? So I opened my art center to help people develop an artist mentality so they could go back out into the art that is their life and create the change they wanted. Like still open the doors, never had any painting on a canvas, literally opening day. I had not painted on a canvas. So it's been a magical carpet ride for sure. But one of the biggest things that I've come to know about creativity, about being an entrepreneur, is the power of embracing what I believe is the integral foundational aspect of creativity, which is non-duality. Non-duality as opposed to duality, which sees things as, us versus them or good or bad, right or wrong. It's the mentality that creates shame and guilt. It's the mentality that for most people, when we say, oh, I paint or come paint with me, and they're like, oh, I can't draw a straight line or a stick figure. That's all fear of being rejected. That is dependent on a dual perspective. So non-duality embraces the wholeness of everything. So if you happen to have a pen and paper, I want you to draw a perfectly imperfect triangle. If you think you can handle it. Okay. So just draw a triangle. I'm going to draw it, kind of base wider side down. So I work a lot with symbols. I allow symbols to represent something that I want to create into my physical reality, into the art that is my life. And then I paint it onto the canvas to practice focusing on what I want. Because so often we go to, oh, I want to do this. And then starts this inner dialogue. I mean, I know this so well, all the reasons why it's not going to work or we don't have what it takes or blah, blah, blah. So symbols are like the language of your creative self. So this triangle has symbolized many things, but I wanted today to symbolize your power. So you could put power in the middle. You could put creative power. You could put authentic self. You can just follow along and then do this on your own later. But let's just say power for now. On the bottom left, I want you to write giving away. So giving away power. So an easy example is like being on an airplane and hearing a baby cry and getting super frustrated. Can you believe that baby's crying? I can't sleep. The baby's crying, baby crying, baby crying, baby crying. You're giving away your power to the baby, the crying baby. No judgment. I'm just saying that's an example. Right? On the other side, we have taking back. So when we take back power, deep breath, compassion to the parents, happy it's not my crying baby on this plane, right? And you focus on something else. That's taking back your power, right? I determined my experience on this flight. And then at the tippy top, one of the things we love to do is standing in. Stand in. Oh, look, I did standing in. Standing in. Standing in our power. So here's an example of non-duality. We love standing in our power, right? Like those moments where things are flowing, the words are flowing, people are like, oh, thank you so much for that. You're doing something you love. You're in the moment. You're in flow. You're standing in your power. We love that. Taking back power. That's awesome. Getting to know more parts of ourselves. Actually, I can do that. I am in control of this. I did learn something. I have grown. I have expanded. Taking back our power. Giving away. Not so much fun, but how can we take it back if we haven't given it away? How can we stand in our power without the strength and resilience that we gain from giving it away, taking it back, standing in, right? So that's non-duality. Creativity only knows non-duality. And regardless of what kind of entrepreneur or business owner or parent or human you are on this planet, you're going to experience all three of these things. I mean, if you have managed to never give away your power, well, it's just not true. It can't happen. But we want to go to your masterclass if that's the case, right? We've all done it. So for me, like I've had the art center for about 8 years. I co-owned a wine bar with a friend, which is really good medicine after being like, come paint. Oh no, you don't want me painting on a canvas. I can't do that. How about some red wine and chocolate? Oh, I'll be there tonight with friends, right? Yes. So that was pretty crazy. But so I've experienced having to witness myself giving away power to the art opening that not as many people came to, or things didn't sell, or the wine tasting, or the monthly, all the different things, right? Where it's like, is this going to work? Am I going to be able to make this happen? Giving away my power to the fear, taking it back. Okay, let's learn from this. Let's pivot. Let's look at what works. What do I want? What would make me happy? How can I share and educate people more about what it is I'm offering in a way that feels fun and in alignment with me? That's taking back, doing it my way. And then standing in my power that comes from all the experiences, giving it away, taking it back, leads to standing in. There's nothing that we do in our lifetimes that doesn't involve a dance between those three energies. And when you can embrace non-duality, you're not beating yourself up. The opportunity is like, wow, I'm being given an opportunity to take back some power here. It's also like being triggered, right? It's a big word these days. Anytime something gets us upset or irate or frustrated, we're being triggered. That's an opportunity to look at that. It's making itself known so that you can take back that power, giving away our power. This is, I think, fairly up these days, especially in the United States, right? We're being given lots of opportunities to practice this. So triangles now can symbolize for you non-duality. And the next time something like makes you upset or triggers you or causes you to worry or get frustrated, anything you don't want to be is you giving away your power. And then can you recognize yourself from a place of non-duality? Look at me giving away my power. Looking at me, let that thing have more influence over me than myself. So I'm going to take that back. What do I choose in this situation, which zooms you up here to the peak of standing in your power? So for me, I teach people painting practice and how, not like, kind of like you said, Jean, not technique. It's how to go to the canvas, like Dinah said, playfully with curiosity and allow it to be a mirror. Start just painting triangles and start witnessing the voices that start whispering in your unconscious, in your mind. Like, oh, that's a really bad triangle. You're really not good at drawing. Okay, that's an opportunity to witness yourself giving away your power, to take it back and stand in. So the painting practice becomes a portal for getting to know yourself, developing self-awareness, developing resilience, nurturing this non-dual perspective. And in the after effects, the ripple effects of that, living life as art and getting to witness where life is wanting more contrast, where it's wanting more unity, where it's calling you to focus more on what we want. Like we have so many more solutions than we have problems. Just Google the size of the earth compared to the size of the universe. There is so much more that wants to be created through each of you than we have problems. So opening up to that, that's the artistry, that's the creativity that is wanting to expand in all of our lives, and then serve as an example for others. Just like Dinah and Jean said, we're all creative. That's who we are. It's like our chi. And so thank you for playing with the triangle. And yeah, I'd love to, like Jean said, let me know how the non-duality, it may, come up like tomorrow, right? You're going to be given a great example to experience giving away your power and taking it back. So deep breath and then stand in your power, your creative power. So thank you, David.
Thank you, Whitney. So as you guys have these three kind of presentations that are flowing through your mind and your heart, I want to invite you to pop some questions in the chat on the right-hand side or wherever your chat window is, and then I'll help direct those to the appropriate person. Whitney, I think about see if you can play with this concept of first to get us started. When I feel overwhelmed in a business like context, then the thoughts that start coming to me are, and you alluded to this, right? This like, okay, I'm not good enough. These people don't like what I'm doing. This is not going to work. Like, take me through in that moment if I'm struggling, because my guess is somebody in this little Zoom room here is struggling with something that's not quite like in your mind. You're going, this is not working, or I'm scared that it won't work if I try it. Help us move from duality to non-duality and get creative in that moment. Walk us through that real quick.
So for me, overwhelm seems like it typically happens for us when we're like getting ahead of ourselves. So the distance between where we want to go and where we are feels like super unknown, dark. Like, I don't know how this is working. My current situation is not where I want to be. Right. So for me, the antidote is bringing yourself present. What can I do right now that is in alignment with where I want to go? And in that moment, if it still feels like, but I don't know how to do that, there's something even sooner. And I play super silly games with myself. So any idea around being serious, the silliness is the answer. So it's like, maybe it's just opening up the computer or going for a walk or texting a friend or searching how to. I have a vision of adding on to my house. And I realized today, I'm like, I'm going to find the guy in the county who does the CAD drawings, right? Like the one little step to bring it closer. So the overwhelm comes because there's so much unknown, right? And the antidote is bringing it present. So from that triangle, it could be like what I know now, the top is where I want to be. And the other one is everything that feels in the dark, mysterious, right? And just understanding, it's just that it hasn't come into illumination at this point. And so taking one step at a time.
Mm-hmm. Just open the computer. Like, just do that. Just start with one. I love that. Sometimes that computer can feel really heavy. Okay. I see the questions are flooding in. Okay. We've got one from Natalie. I love how basic these exercises have been. Breathe in and out, use crayons, draw a triangle. It's almost as if we simply need to return to our childlike existence, drawing shapes with colorful utensils and just being present. How did we ever stray away from this? Thank you, Whitney. Yeah. So, any of the three of you want to respond to what Natalie is sharing there? Like, how did we stray away from this?
It's tough. That's a tough, I don't think there's any really one answer to that. I think generationally, we do the best we can and for whatever is present at the moment. And it just so happened that where we are, and I guess in our time, and then how our society has evolved, is really taken less emphasis on or taking away the creative prowess of the individual, and made it more for the whole, what's going to be better for the whole. And sometimes when the individual is off being creative and doing, and let's be clear about what creativity is. It's really creating something. That creating, or to create, is to make something and develop and bring something to fruition that has never been done before. Most of that people are afraid of. We don't know what it is. So when you're saying, "Oh, I'm going to create something," initially there's this trigger in the back of people that is like, "Ooh, well, I hope it's not bad. I hope we all, hope it doesn't blow up the earth," and like, no, I was just going to go paint I was going to go paint a picture for you, but there is this connotation that, it's not okay. And so then it gets demonized, and then you have everything that goes along with that. And, the historical stories that have been passed down of, or developed and generationally. It's like, well, if you're an artist, you're not going to be able to survive and live and whatnot and thrive. And reality is, it's just, those are just not true. If you look at any of the masters and whatnot, that are most of the people that are in museums, they all had pretty good lives, except maybe a few of them that we know about. Maybe Van Gogh. Okay, great. There's one out of, there's one that probably didn't have a great life, but generationally, his ancestors did. So it's a tough deal. It's tough because I think we're so conditioned to have control and to know what's going to come out. And when you have somebody that is close to you saying, "I'm going to go create something out of nothing and nobody's ever done it before," we kind of don't believe them, because we want to know, we want them to be safe. We care for them. We want security so badly that will demonize whatever their efforts are, in their life. And that's sad. It's hard. And I've gone through it personally. And you just gotta, for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to go try it and I'm going to go fail. And and I've really kind of fallen in love with failing, because it just means that I'm growing, and people were like, well, how'd that turn out? I'm like, oh, it failed miserably, but God, you should see what I've learned, and then all of a sudden it opens up a different conversation.
Let me jump in a question here for Whitney, because Whitney, I know you're not only a creative and an artist. And by the way, I did not mention this about Jean Jimenez, but you can check out, and I put everybody's Instagram and websites there in the chat. So if you want to just copy and paste that real quick onto, a text message or email yourself or whatever. But Jean is also a sound healer. And I did not, I failed to mention that in the beginning. So you can learn about that at artistjean.com as well. So, but Whitney, you are a business coach. And so one of the things that I think is interesting about this conversation, especially because all of us have some sort of work, business, right, that we're creating, is that so much of the current culture online is, let me learn from someone the right way to build my business, to market my business, because it is, I can replicate what they have done in order to be successful. And in some way, that's like the antithesis of creativity, because I'm just trying to like replicate what else somebody else has done. Now, of course, we all want to get to growth and success as fast as possible, but how do you approach that? Like, how do you navigate that?
Well, I'm a big believer in being authentic and marketing in a way that lights you up and is sharing more of what you love. So in my business coaching, it is very much focused on, you have your own, that kind of sweet spot. Like, you have a way of expressing, marketing and growing our businesses is basically education and allowing people to get to know you. So do that your way. Like, I'm not an every day, every week, every whatever kind of person. I like to share and write when I get inspired. And when I do, like at whatever hour, whatever is going on, that's when I'm sharing. So people resonate with conviction and your enthusiasm, energy. And the more you are speaking your truth, your way, and speaking to what lights you up and what you believe in, And the more it's not like everybody else, the better. That is going to be a much clearer transmission, and people are going to be able to find resonance or not. None of us could handle resonance with the entire planet. Like Jean said, 8 billion people, no, we want to find our people. So the more you speak honestly and authentically about who you are and what you're offering, so people know, the more and the easier they're going to resonate with you. So I don't believe in you got to do this, you got to do that, other than being consistent, which consistent could be consistent weekly, monthly, yearly. Over the last 28 years, I've been super consistent. That doesn't mean I don't disappear every once in a while, right?
To go like sky hang gliding. I don't know what paragliding. Yeah. If you guys don't follow Whitney, you'll follow her. And she's like jumping off mountains and like flying through the air. And I mean, it's awesome. And Dinah, can you look at that DM that I just sent you? So she's got her phone out holding it as she's flying through the air with this parachute. I'm like, this is crazy. This is awesome. That is reason enough to
I only do that occasionally because it is really.
Hopefully she has phone insurance. Okay, last question. Thank you so much for Tyler sharing that. Dinah, would you mind touching base on any thoughts that you have about this whole idea of do what you love and the money will follow, right around any advice, resources, wisdom for navigating that process?
Yeah, I guess I would say that, to Jean and to Whitney, finding that creativity, I'm just going to say that it's an opportunity to go within. So finding some of that stillness to understand what is my truth? Where is this spark coming from? And the more, my world is meditation. And so the more we get to know ourselves, the more we get to know our thoughts, the more intimate we become with what it is that lights us up and brings us passion. And so that in itself is creativity, right? That energy within ourselves. But in order to recognize that, I would say, I'm not going to say you should do it, but I would encourage you to find stillness, because we have become a society of just being busy, of doing. And, there's something to being bored, right? When we're still, when we're quiet, things start to flow, and we start to really understand that there is a spark within me. Oh, I like drawing with crayons. Let me draw with crayons for, 20 to 30 minutes and see what comes out of that. But in order to get to that further point, I think it's just really nice to look at what's going on within. And yeah, the artist way is a really wonderful reference, and there's a lot of just like being with yourself and, finding that inspiration and exploring, being curious. I often like to ask my clients, like, what did you love doing when you were a little kid? Where can you find joy? What makes you laugh today? Do that small thing. Maybe it's getting a hula hoop and just like playing with the hula hoop, or, playing basketball and just shooting, right? Playing horse with yourself and just being with your thoughts. And that brings and ignites the inspiration. And so that's something that I would add. Because of course,
Thank you so much,
I'm the one that loves to meditate.
Well, that's why I asked you the question. So there you go. Because I wanted to hear your perspective. So, you guys, I know we're at 6. Give me 3 minutes, because and hang in there for 3 minutes if you wouldn't mind, because I would love to give each one of these awesome contributors 1 minute each to share about what they do and if there's any way that you could connect with them in their work. So, Dinah, do you mind going first? And Jean, think about 1 minute. Whitney, 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, like I just mentioned, going within and just exploring, meditation practice is self-mastery. So what is it about yourself that makes you creative, makes you different? And how do you express that? I love to work with just nourishing people and bringing compassion into their lives. And so whatever it is that is calling you, there is an opportunity to reach that edge of risk taking. We talked a little bit about fear. Oftentimes we are fearful and we kind of limit ourselves. So when we limit ourselves, we're not able to grow. So what I like to do is use the modalities of meditation, of Reiki, that beautiful energy. I also do some sound healing, and just really bringing together. Oh, I have a Kundalini yoga practice as well. And all of it is energetics. And so, just like energy is everything. And I think that when we can connect to that and when we're in community in this way, there's just so much possibility. And I think that, if you can, reach out, if you have questions, you're welcome to find me on Instagram. And
Awesome.
yeah, thanks.
DinahSimpson.com, High Key Living on Instagram. Jean, 1 minute. Tell us how people can connect with you.
Well, the best way to get in touch with me is artistgene.com. And I do a lot of mentoring and supporting people and re-sparking and reigniting that fire within. And a lot of it is just having great conversation. I do it a lot for, especially, like I said, older students and pretty much all walks of life. And I'm always happy just to meet somebody and have a great conversation. Like you mentioned, I do sound work now. And I started sound work really because, one, I thought, just the musicianship. I play 14 indigenous instruments now. And most of it's all self-taught. But as I got into it, there's a science behind sound work that is basically the number one treatment for the nervous system. And when I found that out, I just dove, full on into it. So I'm just about to complete my master's course in sound work, science of sound work, and I do it really because it's a way of creativity, but also that I can give to somebody, that I can support somebody physically, mentally, and emotionally. And it's just my way of being creative while also supporting somebody. So feel free to, reach out to me, whether it's, painting or whatever form of creativity. More than happy to support you with it.
There are a number of you who are in Southern California, and if you get on Gene's email list, he'll share with you the sound baths he does once a month. He also has a room full of paintings that are for sale. So you can find some of those. I'm sure he'll sell you several. Yeah. Whitney, tell us real quick, 1 minute, what do you do? How people can connect with you?
I love to get as many people as possible painting. So I'll post right here a tiny URL /paint to rise. A course, an online course I just launched this January is like, if I could have created that first when I went online in 2009, that would have been great, but I didn't know then what I know now. So this is like, okay, I get it. I'm feeling the painting thing. Show me how and show me the benefits and connect it to my real life. Make this practical magic. This is absolutely the course. Highly recommend. Other than that, WhitneyFreya.com, you can contact me. I am so grateful. I am the only Whitney Freya on the planet. So pretty much anything comes up connected to that. I have a YouTube channel with gobs of information and videos and how-tos and all the things. Books on Amazon. I'd love to connect. I'm very accessible with boundaries. And unless I'm in the air, but I absolutely am here to awaken as much creative energy as possible. So if I can inspire or support you, please reach out.
Hey, I also want to recognize on our call tonight the other executive contributors of Awakened Magazine. We got Asia Taylor, PhD, Molly Burkett. We've got Sandy D just joined us on the team, so she's going to start contributing. And I think that's it. It is great to have all of you here. And thank you. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, Dinah. Thank you, Whitney. Really appreciate your investment in us tonight. And thank you guys for showing up for yourself to receive of this inspiration, encouragement, teaching. This replay will be posted in our Facebook group. I have a Awakened Magazine Facebook group. It doesn't have a lot of people in it because I haven't been pushing it hard, but I was vacillating between, is this open to everybody or is it just open to people who are leaders? And I'm like, well, I don't know. So I'm putting the replay in there. So if you want to have anybody check it out, you can have them look at it there. And boom, we'll do it again next month. Oh, by the way, next month is, let's see, it's October 20 something, and we're talking about decluttering, clearing away the clutter. And so we've got 3 more great executive contributors that'll be sharing that month. So if you want to come back, as always, free of charge, and it's just great to be with you. So thank you guys for being here. You guys are awesome. Remember, you are doing great things in this world. We need what you have to offer. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep pressing on, because our world needs your message. We need your heart. We need your work. We need your wisdom. So keep sharing it. All right. You guys have a great night.